We're continuing our Lenten journey and today reflecting on remaining in God's presence. This has been a rewarding subject for me to delve into in order to see what I do to accomplish this. Growing up Catholic, I learned the Baltimore Catechism, and in one of the first lessons, we are asked, "Where is God?" God is everywhere. But sometimes in life, during times of disappointment, or when things become super hectic, or when our prayers aren't answered, it doesn't feel like God is present. For me, it has been helpful to be intentional about spending time with God in order to increase my awareness of His presence. Daily prayer is an obvious way to do that, and very basic for most Christians. I saw a nice quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in the last couple of weeks, which was very apropos, which said, "To be a Christian without prayer is no more possible than to be alive without breathing." Of course, going to Mass is the most perfect way to be in God's presence and feel His presence with the priest, the liturgy of the Word, the Eucharist, and the congregation. I love the way we finished Mass at Queen of Peace with, "The Mass never ends, we take it with us." In addition to daily prayer and Mass, one of my favorite intentional activities over the last 4 years is studying Scripture. That was not emphasized for me growing up, but my introduction to Bible study has been here at Queen of Peace. Sister B has brought us quite a few wonderful courses of study, and it's given me a love and appreciation for studying Scripture. I set aside about an hour a day for this, and almost always in my reading, I come across something that speaks personally and directly to me, and I feel like God put it there for me for a reason. Sometimes it's such a beautiful passage or a psalm that I like to memorize it so I can take it with me wherever I go. I find that reciting out loud when by myself in my car or whatever gives me an emotional lift and reminds me of God's presence. Being intentional about devoting time with God has enabled me to recognize His presence more often. Many times during the day, I find myself thanking God for the littlest of things. When I go out in the evening and notice a beautiful moon, I think, that's the same moon that Jesus saw 2,000 years ago when He walked the earth and looked up in the sky. These are things that I personally do to remain in God's presence. I hope you too have devised your own unique methods of remaining in God's presence throughout the day, and wish you a blessed and reflective Lent.